Hello everyone and welcome to a special edition of What's on My Desk, because today for the first time I'm going to do this wonderful thing that all the YouTubers do called mail time.
Mail time. Mail time. Mail time.
The mail's here. Come on. Bye, guys.
Blue's Clues? My kids love that cartoon, by the way. So I'm going to start this off by thanking you guys, and I'm going to explain why. Since as of about 6 months ago, and almost close to a year, on a daily basis, I started getting packages in the mail, I started getting emails, and basically people wanting me to be an influencer. So I'm now dubbed as an influencer in the space. For that, I have to thank you guys, my subscribers, because obviously as my subscriber count went up, companies have been offering me sponsorships, paid sponsorships, to plug their various products. Of course, I've turned everyone down. That's not what this channel is all about. But sometimes the packages that I receive actually make sense to me. And what makes sense to me is the product itself, as well as the story behind the company. Now, mind you, disclaimer, no, I'm not getting paid for any of this stuff. This is me simply plugging a product which I feel is a good product, but more so plugging the people behind the product and the story that's behind it. So what did I get in the mail the other day? I got this wonderful thing called the watch stand. Now, I'm sure you guys have seen their Instagram ads. They're all over the place. These guys do a great job via social media marketing. This is how they sell this product. And I know quite a few people that actually have bought this. And this is a product that I felt was worth reviewing and giving these guys a shout out and sort of, again, help them out because I love the story behind this. So, of course, this is a What's on My Desk. So first and foremost, I did bring 3 watches with me to show you guys. But I will briefly show you this watch stand and tell you a quick story about this, guys. Let's start with the fact that it's packaged really nicely. Branding across the top, really nice box. Let's open that up. And by the way, I haven't opened this yet. So this is the first time I'm actually opening it. The watch stand. Thank you for choosing the watch stand. The watch stand is a company, blah, blah, blah. I'll get into that in a minute. It's a little thank you note. Good packaging for this thing to be safe. Hold on, more packaging. And there's the stand. So we'll move this to the side. And what do we have here? Look. Wow. So, this is where your watches go, obviously. So, I'll give away one of the watches that's actually there. I like the touch where the stand is actually on the side. That allows the watch to actually be in the center, because like, if that thing was in the way, this would drive me absolutely insane. A marble stand, so it's actually a good-looking stand, something I would put on my nightstand, and it could probably fit a decor. I'm not sure if they have these in various formats, but I'm sure these guys will be watching, so you guys comment below and tell me. Again, nice touch with the branding on the bottom. You have little pieces of felt here, which won't scratch the surface of any nightstand. But in a nutshell, this is a very nice product, and watches won't really slip off too much. So I kind of like the way this looks overall. My only thing is that I would probably need a few of these on my nightstand because I do wear quite a few watches. But the stand is nice, A+ on the product. It's not as heavy as you would think due to the marble stand, but it does have enough weight where, you know, this thing won't be easily knocked over, per se, if I'm doing all this, right? So, let's talk about the guys. So when I got the stand, I reached out to them. I told them, well, tell me your story. And this is what made me decide to actually put this on my YouTube channel. So this is the email. Well, it started in 2018 when I myself was looking for a place to easily put my watch when I took it off at home. Didn't find anything that looked suitable for my, at the time, Sea Dweller 16600. That's when Idea Design came up. So I did it. A friend of mine thought it was a good idea too, so we teamed up and started looking for someone who could produce it. We ended up finding someone in China who could do it. After several rounds of prototype products being sent to us in Sweden, we finally got something we were happy with and started to sell them online, mainly through Instagram. That's why you guys see them all over Instagram, especially if you're a guy looking at hashtags for watches, this will always pop up. Smart move. My initial idea was to have a solid quality build and a high quality material product, and we were not 100% happy with what we got from China. So during this period, we were looking for something in Europe, and in the beginning of 2019, we released our European-made product, and the quality was like night and day. I'd be curious to see the difference between the European-made product and the Chinese-made product, but that's for another time. The downside with us finding a new partner, as you would put it, everyone and their mother started making copies of our product with our design. We're not too worried about that because our product is far better when it comes to build quality. And in a way, it's also a good sign that we're being copied. That means we did something right, and you're absolutely right. If you're being copied, that means you've made it. I love a basement story, especially when it comes to actually creating a product rather than just reselling products, which is what I did. He sent me a picture of the 3 partners in the company, Jens, Amar, and Soran to the right, which is the guy that's writing this email. And they also just hired their first employee who has just started now in 2020. So that was the brief story that they gave us. There's also a video link in here to Here's a video of a factory visit, and you can see me doing the final bits of assembly in the end. Guys, first of all, thank you. This isn't something that's going to go in a cupboard somewhere. I'm actually going to use this. And oddly enough, I'm most likely going to use this on what's on my desk because this is actually very convenient. I'll probably ask you to send me a couple more of these so that as I'm displaying watches, oftentimes I'm holding them and the camera is moving. So by actually setting a watch onto this watch stand, I could actually do a better video, I feel like. Now, just as a general statement, for all you guys that have contacted me, that mailed me stuff and things of that nature, again, I'm not the guy to take on sponsorships or do paid videos and any of that matter. The only reason I plug this product is I like the product, and again, more so, I love the story behind it. So any of you guys out there that may have a similar story to these guys where you created a product that's related to the watch or jewelry industry, again, I'll be more than happy to review this stuff. But keep in mind, I won't do this as a paid sponsorship. I will do this absolutely free if I like the story behind the company and if I like the product. In either case, back to our regular scheduled program, let's talk about what's on my desk. I brought a Panerai, an AP, and a Zenith. I know you guys say I never show much love to Panerai and Zenith, and I always show these big expensive pieces and things of that nature. Well, guess what? I do sell lots of Panerai, lots of Zenith, along with other brands that may not be as hot on the market today. But speaking of hot, I brought a really rare and hot Panerai. So I'm going to start with the PAM 134, a very unique and very rare radio mirror. And why do I say it's rare? Well, at a glance, you realize, oh, wait a minute, it's a Panerai with diamonds. I haven't seen many Panerais with diamonds. In fact, my wife actually has a super rare PAM 129, which is a Marina case, same size, and a 40 millimeter that also has diamonds on it. They made 40 of those, and my wife actually has the #1 piece, and they made 105 of these. Not sure why 105. You might say, wait a minute, but Panerai always does that. They make number this out of 500, out of 1,000, and they make the same thing next year, and so on and so forth. No, these were only produced at one run, so they only made 105 of these, right? So, for example, if you look at a normal Panerai GMT, like back in the day, the 88s. They made them for a few years, an addition of, let's say, 500 to 1,000. I don't remember exactly. Where with this guy, they made 105 and they stopped. So what this does is it gives you a very rare opportunity to look at a ladies' Panerai. Now, this is supposed to be unisex. It's not supposed to be ladies, but it is indeed one of the very few Panerais out there that a lady could wear. Now, there are plenty of 40 millimeter Panerais out there that a lady could wear that don't have diamonds on them, but for the end of the day, they look like a men's watch regardless. Where we're dressing this up with diamonds, specifically the dial. I love the way the dial is done. This makes it lean a lot more towards this being a ladies' piece. I literally just received this watch yesterday, but I'm afraid that this watch may not make it into my stock. I told you guys before, my wife is a big AP girl. She likes Rolexes and AP, and that's mostly what's in her collection. Ever since I brought that other Panerai watch home, and it was actually me that wanted to buy it more just because of how rare it is. The fact that I only made 40 pieces and that piece was #1. I may take this one home today and show it to her as well, so it may not make it for sale. Should it make it up for sale, this watch will trade around that $20,000 price range. And there's no rhyme or reason to the price of this watch or the watch I may have bought my wife. And the reason for that is because good luck finding another. And they just don't exist out there. These smaller Panerais with diamonds, they made so few of them and so long ago that you'd be hard-pressed to find them on the market today. But nevertheless, something really cool, something super rare from Panerai, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. Moving right along, and let me take you guys back to Havana. Why did I say Havana? That's because I bought the Zenith Cohiba edition. Just at a glance, for those of you that know cigars, you can clearly see the markings of Cohiba as the company. In the back of the watch, you see the number 50 and you see Cohiba. And this watch was made as a collab by Zenith to celebrate Cohiba's 50th anniversary in 2016. Cohiba was opened in 1966, so hence plus 50 years. 2016 is when this watch came out. Probably hit the market in 2017. Again, the famed Cohiba logo, or the wrapper that you would see on any Cohiba cigar, the famed El Primero movement. They made a limited edition of 50 pieces in rose gold, and they made 500 pieces in stainless steel. I try not to smoke too many cigars because, of course, they're not that great for you. But if I had to pick a favorite cigar among the giants, I would go with the Cohiba Bihiki, which is sort of their top echelon cigar. Of course, they'll set you back $70, $80 a cigar, but nevertheless, it is a wonderful cigar. And to see a watch like this sinks to me as somebody that likes to smoke cigars occasionally, and also somebody that likes gimmicks, right? right? The retail price in the watch is $19,100. And you can actually get out there and buy this watch pre-owned at a pretty decent discount. I've seen them trading pre-owned anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000. I've seen them trading new anywhere from $13,000, $14,000 to $15,000, which again is reasonable considering what you're getting. The most famed chronograph movement out there, the El Primero movement, that made all the craze in Daytonas and things of that nature. And again, a nice gimmicky watch. If you're a cigar smoker, this and the Arturo Fuente watch from Hula would probably one of those watches you may want to own. Last but not least, we have an AP Offshore. I know what you're going to say, guys. You're like, wait a minute. This is the original beast, D serial from 1992 that you've showed us on an episode already, and you always wear it, so we actually know this watch. Well, here's a little surprise for you that I picked up at the last trade show. Thank you, Ian. So what do I have here? Seemingly the same watch, but wait a minute, this one has a gold bezel. And this is probably the most exciting pickup that I made in the last trade show, in the last month, probably in the last 6 months, because this is a rare, rare bird. Again, this is still a D serial, original Beast Offshore, but with simply a gold bezel. A very untraditional way to do a two-tone watch. Normally you see some sort of a two-tone thing going on either on the bracelet or on the case, not just a bezel. Nevertheless, a much rarer bird than the original Beast. And the reason I say that is because they made a lot more of the stainless steel version than they did of the one in the gold bezel. And mine is pretty rare because the number's in the very low 40s. So this is one of the very first few that they actually made. Again, not much to talk about in regards to the watch. It's exactly the same watch as my original Beast. Let me put the two side by side. You'll note that the dials are exactly the same. The bracelets, the case, everything is identical to watch with the exception of, again, the gold bezel. This was just a variation of this Offshore, which if you think about today, there's so many variations of the Offshores. But back then, there was not a whole lot of variations. This was one of them. There was obviously the gold one, and then we'll get into things like perpetuals and things of that nature. But for the most part, it was just the steel guy, this two-tone guy, and then the gold guy. What I'm also excited about this watch is its original condition. This watch has never been polished, and it's in super clean condition. And you can tell it's never been polished. Look at the patina on the gold bezel. Like if I took a polishing cloth through this bezel, it would get very, very shiny, but I'm leaving it alone because I actually love the patina on this bezel and the overall condition of the watch. My original Beast is beat the crap, I gotta be honest with you. And I'm actually thinking about sending it to AP, getting a service, but this watch is as original of a condition as they can be, and the condition that it's in, considering it's almost 30 years old, is pretty immaculate. You know, even though it's probably not going to be one of those watches that I'm going to sell, I'm probably going to wear this one for a while, much like that. But then again, I said the same thing about my original Royal Oaks, right? The one from 1972, and since I've had one on my wrist, I sold 3. Right. In fact, you see, I haven't been wearing one for a while. I sold the 3rd one already, and I'm now again actively looking for another one. Market price on this watch is, again, it's pretty much what you want to ask. A reasonable market price on this watch would probably be in that $30,000 to $35,000 price range. That's how I feel about it. But remember, you know, when it comes to vintage pieces, the buy and the sell price do differ because the market is still limited for people to pick up these type of vintage pieces. So usually we tend to buy a little bit lower, leave ourselves a little bit more of a margin in order to be able to resell it and sell it really to a true connoisseur that actually loves this, enjoys this. There is a collector out there that I know that has so many of these original Offshores, and I won't mention his name just yet. We will hopefully do a video sometime soon, and you guys will see an array of these different Offshores, pretty much everyone under the sun that was made. So this is the most exciting pickup, guys, and I'm going to remove a couple of links. I'm going to put it on my wrist, and I'm going to enjoy this, hopefully, for a while. Unless, again, somebody snatches this thing up off my wrist. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Again, show these guys some love. I think they make a great product. I don't have to link them below anything. You can, if you look up the watch stand, they'll pop up everywhere. And I'm sure for those of you that are on Instagram and follow watch accounts, I'm sure the advertisement for them has popped up. So I'm not the first guy that did this. But I do recommend this product. Guys, thank you for sending this to me for free. I will use it and enjoy it. I will ask you to send me a couple of more because I think it will be useful for the home as well as it will be useful here. And we're also building a new studio in the office for future shows, which will have multiple people. And kind of like what you saw in Watchbox, we're building a bigger studio because I'm kind of tired of having just my office as the studio, and I'll probably be able to use a bunch of these for that. Other than that, guys, as always, like, share, subscribe, do all those wonderful things that you do to help my channel grow. And I'll see you guys next week for more watch reviews and other videos.